1. Megan Walsh, victim, manipulator, or mastermind. Megan Walsh's storyline in Coronation Street takes a darker and far more ambiguous turn with the apparent baby loss, but the key question is whether this tragedy is real or strategically constructed. On the surface, Megan appears to be a victim of circumstance. After a violent confrontation with Maggie, she claims to have suffered pains and subsequently lost the baby. Her emotional breakdown in front of Will reinforces this version of events, presenting her as vulnerable and wronged. However, beneath that surface lies a far more calculated possibility. Megan has consistently refused a DNA test, knowing full well it could expose the truth about the baby's paternity. If the pregnancy is central to the case against her, then removing it from the equation, whether physically or narratively, could be her ultimate escape strategy. The timing is suspicious. The loss occurs immediately after Maggie threatens her, creating a convenient scapegoat. If Megan is lying, she not only avoids the DNA test, but also shifts blame onto the Driscolls, potentially regaining sympathy and control. This raises a chilling possibility. Megan may not be reacting to events. She may be orchestrating them. 2. Maggie Driscoll, protection, turning into destruction. Maggie Driscoll's actions stem from fierce maternal instinct, but they are now veering into dangerous territory. Her confrontation with Megan is not just emotional, it is deliberately intimidating, even psychological. Her threat that the Driscolls would raise the baby and tell it the truth about its mother is particularly brutal. It reveals that Maggie is no longer focused solely on protection, but on punishment. The physical altercation that follows marks a critical escalation. Whether intentional or not, Maggie's involvement in Megan's fall places her in a legally and morally precarious position. If Megan's claim is true, Maggie could be held responsible for devastating consequences. Yet even if it isn't true, Maggie has already crossed a line. Her willingness to confront Megan repeatedly, despite police involvement, suggests she is losing control of the situation. In trying to protect her family, Maggie may have unintentionally given Megan exactly what she needed. 3. Will Driscoll, loyalty that clouds reality. Will remains one of the most tragic figures in this storyline. His continued loyalty to Megan, despite mounting evidence, reflects the deep psychological impact of grooming. Skipping school to see her, ignoring warnings, and rushing to comfort her after the alleged loss, all of these actions demonstrate how emotionally entangled he still is. Megan's reassurance that they can be together and raise the baby further reinforces his attachment. This dynamic is crucial. Megan's influence over Will is not fading, it is evolving. By presenting herself as vulnerable and wronged, she strengthens his instinct to protect her. If Megan is indeed manipulating the situation, Will becomes both her shield and her greatest asset. His belief in her could undermine the entire case against her. 4. The physical confrontation, truth or turning point. The fight between Megan and Maggie is the catalyst for everything that follows. It transforms a psychological conflict into a physical one, raising the stakes dramatically. From a narrative perspective, this moment is deliberately ambiguous. Megan falls and later claims this caused the loss of her baby, but there is no immediate confirmation. This gap between event and truth is where suspicion thrives. If the loss is genuine, the storyline becomes a tragedy driven by escalating conflict. If it is fabricated, it becomes a calculated turning point, one that allows Megan to rewrite the narrative in her favor. Either way, the confrontation ensures that the situation can no longer be contained. It forces every character into a more extreme position where consequences are unavoidable. 5. The baby loss claim, a strategic escape. Megan's claim that she has lost the baby is the most pivotal development and the most questionable. From a strategic standpoint, it solves multiple problems for her. It eliminates the need for a DNA test. It redirects blame onto Maggie. It evokes sympathy from Will and possibly others. It creates an opportunity to leave Weatherfield without further scrutiny. This raises the central theory. What if the loss is not real, but a carefully constructed exit plan? If Megan disappears after this, the truth may never be confirmed. In that scenario, she effectively escapes accountability, leaving behind emotional devastation and unresolved questions. The ambiguity is intentional, and it places the audience in the same position as the characters, uncertain, suspicious, and searching for the truth. 6. The Driscolls versus Meghan, a war without rules. What began as concern has now escalated into full-scale conflict. The Driscolls are no longer relying on the authorities, while Meghan is increasingly taking control of the narrative. This is no longer a battle of right versus wrong, it is a clash of strategies. Maggie uses intimidation and confrontation, Meghan uses manipulation and perception. The danger lies in the lack of boundaries. Both sides are pushing further, taking greater risks, and blurring the line between justice and revenge. In this environment, truth becomes secondary to survival. 7. Conclusion. Is this the perfect escape? The supposed baby loss may be the most tragic moment in this storyline, or the most calculated. If Meghan is telling the truth, the consequences for Maggie could be devastating. But if she is lying, it represents a chilling level of manipulation, one that allows her to walk away without ever facing justice. The final question lingers. Has Meghan lost everything, or has she just secured her way out? Either way, the outcome will leave lasting damage, and not everyone will recover from it.